Hello everyone, so in the last video I presented the ACC, and in this one I will explain the AEBS. So AEBS means Automated Emergency Braking System, and this is a system in cars that will trigger the brakes if there is not enough free distance in front of the car. And it prevents the car from crashing into the one in front of. So to do that, I'm using Ansys SCADE suite. So let's start by looking to the ADAS operator. So we saw in the last video that this operator is composed of two blocks mainly. So the AEBS and the ACC. In the last video, I explained this one, the ACC, and in this one, I will explain the AEBS. So again, we have the inputs on the left and the outputs on the right. So what inputs does the AEBS need? First, the brake, which is a percentage of how much the brake pedal is pressed. The clearance is the distance with no obstacles in front of the car. And the current speed is the current speed of the car. And in the output, the AEBS will compute the brake command. So this is how much brake will apply to the car, and the emergency state, which is a value that can be displayed in the car to alert the driver if we have an emergency or not. So let's see how it works inside. So inside we have a state machine with three states. So the first state is no emergency. When we start the car, there is no emergency. So we are doing nothing inside it unless putting the value no emergency inside emergency state. But if we have the emergency condition, we switch from the no emergency state to the emergency braking. So when do we have this condition? We can see it on the right. We have the emergency condition if the clearance is smaller than the emergency distance. So if the free distance in front of the car with no obstacles is smaller than the emergency distance. And how do we have the emergency distance? We compute it from the vehicle speed. So let's see. We choose to make a pretty simple formula. So we take the speed, we divide it by 10, and we'll multiply it by 3. So we'll take the speed and we multiply it by 0.3. And you can change it if you want. On the web, you can see a lot of formulas for this. And in some car, it even takes, for example, the weather into account. So for example, if it is sunny, it can be this calculation, but if it is raining, maybe we choose another one. So that is why you can change it if you want. That is not a problem. So let's go back to the AEBS. So if we have this condition, we'll go to the emergency braking state. So in the emergency braking, we'll put emergency brake force into brake command. So emergency brake force in this project is set to 100. So that means that if we have an emergency braking, we'll brake to 100%. And also, we'll set emergency braking to emergency state. And that will allow to display maybe a message on the screen of the car, so the driver will know that we are going to do an emergency braking. And then we have another state, which is the stop state. And to go in this stop state, we have the stop condition. And the stop condition is here on the right. And it is when the vehicle speed is equal to 0. So when the vehicle is fully stopped. So when the vehicle is fully stopped, we'll go to the stop state. And what do we do? When do we do in the stop state? We set the brake command to pedals min. So we are not braking anymore. And we also put the stopped state into emergency state. So sorry, we will put stopped into emergency state, and maybe that can be used to display another message on the screen, like emergency braking done. You can restart the car and go again. And to go to no emergency state, you have to have the no emergency condition, and this condition is simply when the vehicle speed is greater than 0. And when we have that, we'll go to the emergency state. So that is how our AEBS is working. Let's go back to the ADAS operator because I want to show you something. So in the first place, with my team, we designed these two blocks, AEBS and ACC. But sometimes the AEBS triggers, but the ACC is still running. And when the ACC is running, you have the throttle command that is output. So maybe sometimes you ask the car to accelerate with the throttle command and at the same time to brake. So the first thing that we did is to add another input to the ACC, which is the emergency state of the AEBS. And in the last video, we saw that when we have an emergency state, the ACC will be interrupted. Okay, so this is a first thing. But we also created another little operator, AEBS priority, which sets the priority to the AEBS. And if we have an emergency braking, we'll set the throttle command not to the throttle command that is output by the ACC, but we'll set the throttle command to 0. So let's see this block. If we have an emergency braking, the throttle command will be set to pedal min, which is 0. So that's it. And now the system is working correctly. So thank you again for listening. I hope that you like it, and see you again.